The Cloaca Maxima still carries stormwater through Rome, 2,000 years old, built by slaves using stone. No computers, no concrete, no pumps. In 2023, a pump station in downtown Detroit failed during a storm that dropped exactly the volume the Cloaca Maxima handles every spring. Detroit's system cost $400 million to build. Rome's cost nothing but labor. Both move the same water. One still works, the other flooded a city. This is not a story about concrete. This is a story about a set of principles that ancient planners understood and modern zoning erased. The principles were written down. They worked for 2,000 years. Then someone decided they were obsolete. You have walked through the result. The downtown with the boarded-up storefronts, the empty stretch where every third window has a for-lease sign, the suburb with perfect cul-de-sacs and a main street that feels like a museum exhibition of failure. You know that hollow recognition. Something essential was planned out of existence. The principle was called Oikeiosis. The Stoic philosophers of Athens and Rome used this word to describe the process by which a person learns to extend care outward, from self to family to neighborhood to city to the whole human community. The word literally means making oneself at home in the world. And the planners who built the ancient cities that still function today treated Oikeiosis as a design constraint. They asked, does this street make a person feel at home? Does this square invite a stranger to stay? Does this neighborhood create the conditions for a citizen to practice virtue? Modern planners ask different questions. How many cars per hour can this intersection move? What is the property value per square foot? What is the tax revenue per lot? The questions are precise. The questions are measurable. The questions have nothing to do with whether a human being can live well here. That is the core fracture. If this contrast hits something in you, subscribe. Because this channel exists to find every forgotten principle that built cities worth living in. And in the comments, tell me, which question does your city ask? The ancient one or the modern one? Here is what nobody noticed. The oldest surviving urban manual in the Western tradition, Vitruvius's De Architectura, written 30 years before the Common Era, contains a chapter on the psychological effects of street orientation. Vitruvius observed that streets aligned to the prevailing wind created irritable residents. He recommended that public squares be placed where citizens would naturally gather, not where real estate was cheapest. He argued that the city should mirror the rational order of the cosmos. The word he used was ordo. The Stoics used the same word to describe the structure of the universe. The city was not a machine, it was a mirror. Recent research tested this. In 2003, Gross and John published a study of 1,200 American adults that found cognitive reappraisal, the core Stoic technique of viewing events objectively, reduced negative affect by more than half a standard deviation and increased the life satisfaction by 12%. The technique works. The technique requires a built environment that supports reflection, not distraction. The suburb with the perfect cul-de-sacs does not support reflection. The downtown with the boarded-up storefronts does not support reflection. The street designed to move cars at 40 miles per hour while a human being walks on a concrete ribbon 6 feet wide. That street tells the brain, you do not belong here. Keep moving. Write this in the comments. What part of this did you already know but never said out loud? The official story says we progressed. Ancient cities were primitive, unorganized, unhealthy. Modern zoning separated housing from commerce, separated work from life, separated people from each other. This was supposed to be progress. The strange part is that every ancient city that still functions did the opposite, and they worked better. LiDAR scans of pre-Columbian Amazonian cities from the 2010s reveal something else. Grid systems that rival modern planning. Populations larger than 100,000. Flood management systems that controlled seasonal rains without concrete. The engineers who designed these cities had no computers, no pumps, no steel reinforcement. They had a principle. The same principle Vitruvius described. The city as a living organism. Every street as a vein. Every building with a role. Nothing single-use because nothing in nature is single-use. Now watch what happens when you apply this logic to a modern ghost town. The town of Gary, Indiana, was founded in 1906 by the United States Steel Corporation. It was planned as a model industrial city, rational grid, separated zones, efficient infrastructure. By 1920, its population had passed 100,000. By 1970, it had lost 30% of its population. Today, it has lost 70% more. The streets are still there. The grid is still rational. The zoning is still textbook. The life is absent. Gary is not unique. It is a specimen. Subscribe to keep walking through the autopsy of every other town that followed the same plan. And in the comments, name the city you have watched die the same way. The same pattern kills 10,000 cities before yours. Seneca the Younger wrote a letter to his friend Lucilius about the noise of Rome. He described the bakers, the coppersmiths, the street vendors, the screaming of prisoners in the market. He did not recommend moving to the countryside. He recommended building an inner citadel, a place of mental stillness that no external noise could penetrate. The Stoic practice of prosos, attention, was a skill for surviving the city, not escaping it. Modern planning does not teach this skill. It replaces it with noise insulation, double-pane windows, noise ordinances, cul-de-sacs that isolate each home from every other. The outer noise disappears. The inner citadel never gets built. Jane Jacobs observed this in 1961. She stood at 200 intersections in New York, counting foot traffic, measuring life. She found that mixed-use neighborhoods, where bakeries stood next to apartments, where barber shops faced grocery stores, where people knew each other by sight, had lower crime and higher economic activity than single-use zones. The pattern was so clear, she called it the ballet of the good city sidewalk. The Stoics called it sympathia, the mutual interdependence of all parts of the city. The planners ignored her. The highway builders ignored her. The zoning boards ignored her. 50 years later, the downtowns that followed her advice are thriving. The ones that followed the zoning code are empty. This is the hidden truth. Ancient cities were built for humans, not cars. For community, not commerce. For resilience, not efficiency. Modern planners optimized for property value and traffic flow and created spaces where life cannot exist. The failure is not economic. Economics is the symptom. The cause is the design. You live in a city built by planners who never asked the question ancient builders answered daily. Does this space make life better? Every boarded-up storefront, every sterile sidewalk, every downtown that feels like a museum of failure? These are not accidents. They are the predictable outcome of a system that forgot its purpose. If you have ever felt like a stranger in your own city, like the place you grew up in was replaced by something that does not recognize you, you are not wrong. The pattern is real. Understanding it is the first step. You are not wrong to feel like a stranger. The pattern is real, and understanding it is the first step, but it is not the last. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next, because one city broke the pattern. In the comments, describe one intersection or block that feels more like a machine than a home. There is a city that reversed this pattern. What they did challenges everything you just learned. That is the next chapter. So next time you walk through a downtown with empty storefronts, ask yourself, was this planned or did it just die? Subscribe, not because you will fix it, because understanding how a city fails is the first step to knowing why yours might too.